Nice cool building, amen?
Amen.
We are blessed. You know, there's places around the world that they gather together and it feels just like it does outside. Some of them have church outside. This guy right here would sweat for days if I had to preach outside right now, but thank God that we're blessed with an opportunity to come inside, be comfortable, and just enjoy His presence like we have already. We're going to be in Joshua 20, 1 through 6. We talked last week about Moses, right? Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, and the dysfunctional family that they kind of were, and that they were dysfunctional. But who knows that Moses was really leading a dysfunctional people, right? It wasn't just like Moses was the only guy there that had issues. He was leading a bunch of people that had issues. And who knows that from the beginning of time, when Eve took that fruit was pretty much a fruit of dysfunction. And from then on out, people were dysfunctional, right? Dysfunctional means not to be working perfectly. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, and He created Adam, seeing that Adam needed a mate, seeing that he needed a helpmate, and created Eve, at that time, everything was completely functional. Everything was perfect. Everything ran according to God's will, and it was perfect. But then, with the fall of man came dysfunction, and it has been with us ever since. And who knows that God isn't blind to this? He knows this. He knows we're dysfunctional people. We talked last week about how He doesn't want us to wallow in our dysfunction, but He wants to bring us up above it and use us despite it, right? I never will forget, this is going to blow some folks' mind, but I played basketball in high school. I know y'all thought, no, you're more of a lunchroom guy, looks like. Big fan of the lunchroom. But I did. I played ball, and I played. I couldn't jump or run, but I did like to shoot. And so I played. And I'll never forget, we played Salem. And Salem had a pretty good team, and okay team. They had a great player. And we played zone defense, which meant you never did guard the same guy all the time, right? And they had a guy, I'll never forget his name, Chad Willett. And he was good. He was the quarterback, and he was a guard, and he was good. And I remember before the game, we're starting 5, we're fixing to go out, and he comes up to me and he says, "Kendall, come here." I said, "All right." I'm thinking the coach is about to give me some kind of deep, pump me up, tell me I'm about to drop 30 on him. I'm fired up, you know, and I go up there and I said, "What?" He said, "Hey, if you ever get switched on Chad Willett, foul him." I said, "Okay." And I know why, because I'm tough. And when I foul him, it's going to scare him, and he's not going to play well. So I fouled him 3 times that game. As soon as he touched it and I was on him, foul him! And I did him. And once I had to chase him a little bit, he quit. but I fouled him. And we ended up winning the game. And after the game, I'm getting ready, we're fixing to leave, and we're getting up on the bus, and I said, "Coach, what was your strategy there? How come you never would just let me just guard him, shut him down?" And he said, "Can I tell you something?" And I never will forget this. He said, "Sometimes it's better." He said, let me put it like this. He said, "I thought for you, it was better to put you in a position that you would not win." You know what? When I fouled, I didn't win. He said, "But if you hadn't fouled, I was going to put you in a position where you would lose." Thank you, Coach. Yeah. He said, "You didn't win by fouling him. But if you'd have guarded him, you'd have lost." So at that time, I knew that I was probably going to play pro ball. I was going to play pro ball. I figured at that moment when Coach told me that. But anyways, I didn't care because I didn't like defense. But here's the deal. A lot of Christians today, I've been doing a lot of studying on leadership. Work has me doing some leadership stuff. And it's just, it's been kind of cool because it's completely secular. There's nothing Christian about it, but it applies. Leadership is a Christian quality. Who knows that? And I'll be reading this book that some car guy wrote about leadership, and I'm thinking, you can preach this. You could spin this around. This is gospel stuff. He's preaching biblical truths and probably don't even know it. So I'm reading this, and I'm reading all of this stuff, and that is one of the things that this guy wrote about. He said a lot of people today, he said a lot of managers, he said they sit there and they do things not to fail instead of doing things to succeed. Are you with me? I believe there's a lot of Christians today that live life not to fail. If I stay right here, I won't fail. I'll survive. Right? I'll be okay. and they live life that way. Well, God didn't call you to live that way. He didn't call me to live that way. He didn't call us to live safely in our don't fail bubble, don't lose bubble. In our survive bubble. Who knows? God's called us to be winners. He calls us more than conquerors. He calls us to thrive, not just survive. He called us to get out of our comfort zone and move forward. And that is today what He's called us to do, but that's also what He wanted for the people way back when, right? That's what He wanted for them. So He knew that. He knew they were dysfunctional. He knew they had problems. He's seen everything Moses had to deal with. So He, in all His love, and His want for His people to succeed, and Him wanting them to win, and Him wanting them to make it, He created something. When they got to the promised land, He told them, when they were close, He told Moses, I want you to set up cities of refuge for them. Okay? Cities of refuge. And then He told Joshua later on exactly what cities to make cities of refuge. We're going to talk about it a little bit today. Cities of refuge. If you've been around on Wednesday nights, hopefully if you've heard me preach much at all, you know where our city of refuge is. We're going to get into it a little bit later. But right now we're going to talk about today in Joshua, the Israelites' city of refuge. Okay, here's what we got. We're going to be in Joshua 21 through 6. If you would please stand. We're going to just 6 verses here. We're going to read these. Joshua 20 verse 1 says, Then the Lord said to Joshua, Tell the Israelites to designate the cities of refuge as I instructed you through Moses, so that anyone who kills a person accidentally and unintentionally may flee there and find protection from the avenger of blood. When he flees to one of these cities, he is to stand in the entrance of the city gate and state his case before the elders of that city. Then they are to admit him into their city and give him a place to live with them. If the avenger of blood pursues him, they must not surrender the one accused, because he killed his neighbor unintentionally and without malice aforethought. He is to stay in that city until he has stood trial before the assembly, and until the death of the high priest who is serving at that time. Then he may go back to his own home in the town from which he fled. So here, let's just go a little prayer. We'll keep y'all standing the whole time. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you right now, thankful, Lord, for that you are our refuge, you are our rock. Lord, thankful that we have a place to go. Lord, right now allow us to recognize you in your fullness today. Allow us to see you as our Savior, as our safe place, as our Redeemer, as our Forgiver, as our Healer. Today, bless those that are here today like only you can. Lord, allow us, we want to bless you right back in praise and worship. Lord, we'll give you the praise and we'll give you the glory. And everybody says, Amen. I want to sit y'all down. I've been known to make people stand at their weddings. Ain't that right? Lord. So here we are now. We see that, like I said, God, He's for His people. That's something that the Old Testament God doesn't get enough credit for. People read about Old Testament God, He's all about smiting and smoting. That's what people think. He's all about punishment and condemnation and all these things. That's the mindset a lot of people get about Old Testament God. But who knows, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And He's always been about redemption. He's always been for His creation, for His people. He's always wanted to see them succeed. But He knows, of course, that dysfunction fell upon man in the beginning. And now here He has created for the Israelites a city of refuge. So what are these cities? These cities were this. If somebody unintentionally kills somebody, it'd be what we call manslaughter, they would have a place to go. Who knows at this time, we're talking eye for an eye stuff, right? Back then when something happened, it was eye for an eye. You robbed somebody, they cut your hand off. If you did certain things, if you killed somebody, they're going to kill you back. It was eye for an eye. And He said, I need to give my people an opportunity where they can rise above their failures. When something happens and they don't mean to, when they fail because they're people, I need to give them a way to continue to have hope. I got to give them something where they can get to a safe place and still live a life, right? So He created these cities. These cities were scattered among Israelite territory. I think this is they were a day's journey from pretty much every place. Anywhere you lived, you should have been a day's journey from the city of Refuge. No one had special favor. It wasn't this city's a lot closer than that city or anything. They were spread out to where everybody had an equal opportunity to get to that city. Okay? So what would happen is if you unintentionally killed somebody, you would get to this city. You would try to outrun the people that are trying to kill you back. And you would go to this city and you would enter the gate. The people had to take you in. And you would stay there until you stood trial. They would find out, they would question you to make sure, was this an unintentional event? And then they would go on from there. So let's begin to talk about this. What I thought would be neat today is to look at a life, look at somebody, let's just kind of go to somebody that we kind of would imagine would be going through this situation. Martell's going to come to the altar, I can tell. It's like halfway up. We'll have that here in a little bit. Glory. So here, let's look at it. It's my go-to right there. Thank you. So let's look at somebody. Let's go into the shoe. Let's take a walk in the shoes of somebody that this would happen to. Let's just imagine there's a person. Something happens. They're doing something. Unintentionally kills them. Whatever happens. What are you going to do next? These people at this time, they're going to go find that city, right? Now, what's going to go through their minds between what has happened to them and that city, right? Because that's their journey. The Valley of Baca is between Hebron, which is a city of refuge. And I can go through all the cities here. Hebron is a city of refuge. And it talks about, in the Bible, the Valley of Baca, B-A-C-A. And it talks about it being a rough place, a tough place. And I can imagine any time that you're rushing for your life to any of these cities, it's going to be terrifying, would it not be? It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. You're trying to run. And I kind of got all these things that I believe will be going through somebody's mind. First of all, you know they got to be frustrated. I didn't mean for it to happen. It happened. It was an accident. I'm not a bad person. The situations and the circumstances got to me, and frustration sets in. And we talk a lot about frustration, don't we? I mean, I try to talk about it because I think frustration is the devil's little way to create big problems. Does that make sense? I think it's the devil's little way to create big problems. Whoever says, anybody ever come up to you and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And you say, "Yeah, I'm just a little frustrated." It ain't a big deal. I'm just a little. We kind of take frustration to be like little. And I'm just a little frustrated. I'm just kindly frustrated. That's all. And who knows, though, that the devil can take something as little as frustration, he can blow it up into some major big stuff. You imagine these people that had to go to these cities, they're frustrated. They don't know what their future is going to hold now. They don't know they don't know if they're going to make it to the city or not. They don't know. They're upset. Can I tell you, when we get frustrated, one or two things usually happen. We usually hit a crossroads. And at this crossroads, we are either going to do one or two things if we're not careful. If we don't grab a hold of it, if we let that frustration grow, we're going to do one or two things. We're going to implode or we're going to explode. That's usually what happens. When frustration goes unchecked, when it's considered just something little that don't need to be taken care of, when we don't address it, it grows into something bigger, and it either leads us to implode, which means like a depression. We get down. We don't want to be around anybody. It puts a bitterness in us. Nobody likes me. No, it's just everything around my life is awful. Poor me. We go to that, right? And that is bad. Who knows God can't use you in your fullness if you think your life is awful. If you think everything about your life is horrible, if you think you're horrible, God can't use you to your full potential. That is a dysfunction that can hold you down. We see that in the Bible. There's people that just said, Moses kind of battled at the burning bush. Who am I? And did not God immediately check him and say, it don't matter who you are, it's who I am? He immediately checked that. He rebuked that. If you remember Jeremiah, He had the same stuff going on. I'm just a kid. Young kid, I don't know. And immediately, what did he say? He checked him. People with David. They said, "Oh, David, a little young shepherd?" And he says, "I don't look at people like man looks at people. I see the heart." If you'll notice, when people try to belittle themselves and say, "No, I can't do it," God is always there to say, "No, you can't, but I can through you." He's always quick to check that spirit. It's because He hasn't called us to live that way. So we can implode in our frustration. We can get down and out. We can allow that to kind of wallow in that type of dysfunction. Or we can do the other, and that's explode. Right? Frustration builds up and we just lose it. And we say things we regret. We do things we regret. We say things we can't ever really take back. And we really can... Imploding really hurts you. Exploding really hurts everyone else. Right? It can really hurt everybody else. You can say stuff, you can lash out in anger. It's just that frustration that goes unchecked, and it's growing, and then bam. We see that in Moses. Moses will go to the promised land. We talked about it last week. I'm not going to go into it. But Moses will go to the promised land because of an explosion. Frustration built up and exploded. He didn't allow it. It went unchecked, and it cost him the promised land. So here you can see where would that not be? You're in this place. You're going to this city of refuge, and you're battling this frustration. Who knows in our lives today, on our way to the city of refuge, which is Jesus, the devil is going to try to get us frustrated. He's going to try to get us to think it ain't our fault. It's just the situations and the circumstances. It's just the stuff I'm born into. It's just this. If it wasn't for them, or if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be going through this. And all the while, everything is growing up in us, and we're going to do one of the two things if we're not careful. We're going to implode. We're going to hate ourselves. We're going to hate our life. And we're eventually going to hate God. Or we're going to explode, and we're going to hurt a whole lot of people if we don't check it. Are you with me? God says, keep going. The next thing that can happen in this trip, I can imagine these people, is would there not be a fear? You got somebody wanting to kill you back. Are you going to be scared? Yes. Right? Are you going to be a touch panic? Probably. You didn't mean to do it. It's happened. It's just one of them deals. And now you got people trying to kill you. Your life is probably never going to be the same. You have to leave your home. You're going to be scared. Who knows sin is a scary thing? Sin's one of them, I don't know, it's kind of like them fake apples that like your grandma has. They look really good. It looks really good. And it looks real. Who knows sin looks like real happiness sometimes from a distance? Who knows sin looks like real peace sometimes? Who knows sin looks like that? Sometimes sin looks like that thing that you've been needing your whole life that you think will completely just fix you. Sin looks like that sometimes. It poses as that. But just like the little wax fruit, when you get a big old bite of it, you're going to find it ain't the real thing. And it's going to always be there, that mark, if you don't address it. There's an apple at my grandma's house right now. It's got two big old front tooth marks in it. Guilty as charged. She flips it around to hide them. I always turn it back around where they see my teeth. But that's exactly how sin is. If we never check it, it's going to be some mark there that's always there. If they didn't go to the city of refuge, you know how they would die? They would die to the people, everybody around them. They would die as murderers. Right? Is that not accurate? If they didn't make it to that city of refuge and they were got and were killed, the public would perceive them as murderers. Today, sin will take you and it will create you into something that you, in your truest form, are not. Look at Samson. I think of Samson when I think of this. Sin took Samson from a man of God, a great warrior, and took him to a blind man, a slave. We think, how in the world does that happen? But it happens to us daily. The Bible says, deny yourself daily. Take up your cross and follow me. Can I tell you this, and I believe this today? I am surrounded by a lot of good people. Here at my work, I'm blessed to be around a lot of good people. And for a long time, I thought that's what was necessary. Just be a good people. But can I tell you today that Jesus says, don't try to just be good people, because you will fail. You will find yourself like these people in need of a city of refuge. And he said, that's where I come in. That's who I am. You don't have to be good people. You can be godly people. That's better. That's less work. And that's a lot better reward. So we have this, we have frustration that can set in when you're on this road. We're going to call it the sin road here. We got this when we're on this, when we're trying to find something better. We have this frustration, we can have this fear. And of course we also have this other thing, and it's the reason that we need refuge, and that's failure. We have failure. We mess up. Raise your hand if you messed up. We're going to preach online tomorrow. There is a hand. We're going to have Monday church. Do that. But no, we've all messed up. We've all failed. The Bible says we've all sinned and fell short of the glory of God. We've all done that. That's everybody. And here's the deal. We know this. We know that we fail. But does that make it any easier? Are you with me today? Does that make the failure any... When you mess up, you say, that's just me. No, you get frustrated. You get scared. You get all those things that we just talked about. That all stems from failure oftentimes. Who knows one of the greatest fears is a fear of failure? I'm afraid I'm going to mess up. My coach didn't let me guard that guy because he was afraid I was going to mess up. And today, that's where we can be, and that's where we can live. I want to share something with you today. We have the frustration, we have the fear, we have the failure. Now, what happens once we reach that city of refuge? Well, this is the good part now. We talked about all the bad stuff, let's talk about the good part now. What happens when we reach that city of refuge? They roll up and they knock on the door. I've made it. I've outrun everybody that's out to get me. I've outrun all these people that want to harm me. I've outrun all this stuff. I've made it to where God has set up a place for me to hopefully have life beyond this failure, beyond this fear, and beyond this frustration. So I'm here at this gate now, and the gate opens, and I love this. He says they got to take you. They don't have no choice. I love that. He says they got to. So he says they bring him in, and he stays there until a trial. And then they bring him before a trial, and they say, okay, tell us what happened. And you begin to plead your case, right? Well, hey, we were on a building, we were doing this and that. I bumped into him, it was steep, and he fell off and he died. And they would say, okay, that's incidental, you stay here. Those people can't touch you, you're safe in here. That city of refuge is freedom for you today. Can I tell you that? Jesus is your city of refuge, and it is freedom from all the things you've ever done. Now, is there still going to be consequences in life? Yes, of course. But it's a freedom spiritually. You ain't got to carry it no more. You ain't got to try to fix it no more. You don't have to. I love this about grace. And I talked to my dad about this. I told my dad, I said, Dad, the one thing that I wish I would have grabbed a hold of a lot younger, I wish it had been ministered to me more as a young man, was grace. Because it never was. Can I tell you all, I got saved like every Sunday. I was scared to death. You know, I was scared to death. I messed up, and I'm going to hell now. And I lived a life of, in my teenage years, I lived in a spiritual fear that every day I'm not going to make it because I'm sure I did something wrong. Right? And there's a lot of people that I believe have lived that way or are living that way. But can I tell you today, grace is that city of refuge. It's freedom. It's not freedom to sin, but it's freedom to live life knowing that God has you. Understand that today. I want somebody to get that today, because I believe there is a confusion there. That every day we got to try to live perfect, and if we don't, it's like people, God falls in and out of love with us. Now I tell you today that you have a city of refuge. You have a place God has designed just for you. It's called grace. And He says, come, you will not be turned away. Ain't that great? You will not be turned away. You will not be, come on in. And whatever you've done before, you have freedom now. You have freedom to worship. You ain't going to say, Lord, I'm going to worship you now, but don't, I know I've done some stuff. You have freedom to worship. Since the veil was torn, we talked about that Wednesday night. You have freedom to worship. You have freedom to pray and seek God for whatever it is. You have freedom to love yourself and others. You have all these freedoms in that city. When they brought you in that city, when them people get brought in that city, they don't say, okay, hey, you can't go over here, you can't go over there. The Bible says they have free reign in the city. Right? So you have freedom. I love this next one. You have favor. Ain't that great? Ain't that really something we all want? If we're just really honest, don't we want favor? Don't we want favor in our job? Don't we want favor in our home? Don't we want favor in our community? Don't we like? I talked to a guy yesterday. I went to Melbourne and I seen a guy on a billboard and I ran into him in town and we were kind of picking at him about being on a billboard. He's a good guy named Tom Cohen. He's a real estate agent. He was a car salesman. He was a city councilman. He's done a lot of stuff that can make a lot of people mad. Right? And I told him once before, I said, can I tell you today that I model myself earthly on you? He said, well, I appreciate you saying that. I said, I mean it. I said, you've been a car salesman. You've been a real estate agent. You've been a politician. And you have a great name. And he's a godly man. Those are like the three worst things you can be in the eyes of people. Right? But he has a good enough reputation that they choose to put him on a billboard to represent the city. Because he's done everything with honor, integrity, and character. That's big time today. Now, is he perfect? No. But he did those things. Today, that's what we want. We want a good name. We want those things are things we want. And who knows today, though, that with God, we don't have to work for him. They didn't have to get there to the gate and answer 10 questions. And if they got, at least 80% of them right, they could come in. They didn't have to come into the among the assembly and perform some kind of task or give something. All they had to do was tell what happened. And they had favor among that court, among those people, among that assembly. Can I tell you today, just like I said earlier, God is for you. God is for you. And he wants to see you succeed more than you want to succeed. Today, you have an advocate. And in our leadership deals, we're learning about customers. And y'all are all going to be able to sell cars after this. But we learn about customers. And we say, the deal read, it's better to create advocates than it is customers. Because customers will buy a vehicle from you one time, and that's it. Advocates will buy a vehicle for you, and then tell everybody how great you are when you leave. Because they liked you and they're for you. Can I tell you that God is your eternal advocate? Jesus is your advocate. When he died on the cross, he did it for you. And he's standing at the right hand of the Father right now, pleading your case daily. And can I tell you, your case is being heard? And he's not saying guilty. No, he looks at the Son, the right hand there. He looks at Jesus, and he says, because of you, innocent. You have an advocate. In life, sometimes it may not feel that way. I just don't feel like I can read back with it's for me. But can I tell you right now, you do have an advocate. You have a friend that sticks closer than a brother. You have somebody that in all situations, in all circumstances, if you lean on him, he's going to say, I got you. I'm for you. How can you feel lonely when you got that? Today, if you're battling loneliness, we all do it. Maybe for whatever reason. If you're battling loneliness, if you battle that insecurity of just I feel by myself, I feel alone, I feel, I've heard of people, and I've been this way before. Even if you're in a crowd of people, you still kind of feel lonely. Nobody really understands where I'm at. Nobody, you're not throwing a pity party. You're struggling. There's people ain't grabbing a hold of what I'm going through. I don't feel like I can talk about it. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward. I don't do anything bad of me. Can I tell you, you have a Heavenly Father. If you ain't even bow your head. If you'll just look to him, he knows everything you're going through. Exactly. He understands it. And he is advocating for you to get through it. He looks at you, he didn't say, well, you deserve to be there. He looks at you and says, you know what, I'm bringing you out of that. The city of refuge wasn't a place to go where they said, well, you deserve to be in trouble. You deserve to get these situations. You deserve that. It was a place where they could come and say, all right, you're starting fresh. You have favor. The last thing is this. I'm going to wrap this up today. The city of refuge was a place of forgiveness. It was a place of forgiveness. When they came there, it wasn't pretended like it never happened. They didn't just come in and say, okay, go in, don't tell us your story, we don't want to hear it, just come in. It was a place where they went in, they told their story, and they said, okay, we forgive you, you're safe here. Today, God doesn't want you to act like you've never failed. God doesn't want you, He's not wanting you to act like and put on a front like you're somebody you're not. Paul said, in my weakness, He is made strong. Paul didn't say I was never weak. Today, God doesn't want you to do like what we often do with people and try to put on something, act a certain way, maybe they'll like me more, dress a certain way, maybe they'll like me more, maybe people will think this about me or think. He says, I want you to come to me in your truest form, in who you are, and I'm going to love you exactly as you are. And I'm going to forgive you where you have fallen or where you have struggled. I'm going to forgive you where you've sinned. Because I love you. Isn't that so simple but so profound? Because I love you. You know why glory. You know why I do things for my children. You know why I want to come home after work and I'm excited to get home and be with my family. It's because I love them, right? And you're all the same way. It's just because we love them. Love is such a profound thing. It's such a big thing. It's something that, like I've said, it's something that a 3-4-year-old, it's something Maddie, as little as Maddie and Slayton, it's something they can get a hold of. They know they love. It's so simple that a child can do it, but it's so profound that we can't even really describe it in words. Ain't that big? It's big. And because of that thing, love, that was created by God, that is God, we have these places of refuge. We have these places to go. I want to close with this and then we're going to pray. It says, the Bible says that these cities of refuge, that they came there and they stayed there and they stayed there till the high priest died. Okay? They were bound to this city. Let's just pretend like Swifton's a city of refuge today. They would come here and say that the high priest was here. They would be bound in this little city, this area. These cities weren't huge. I looked at the populations. None of them they weren't tiny like little villages, but like Hebron was like the 6th biggest city in the kind of the Israelite territory. So they weren't like the capitals. They weren't massive. They were just kind of average size cities. Be like in Arkansas, be like maybe Batesville or Newport or Searcy. It's not nothing huge, but just average size. So they would go there and they would be bound. If they left there, their safety wasn't guaranteed. Their freedom wasn't guaranteed. Their favor wasn't guaranteed. None of these things were guaranteed if they left those cities while the high priest was living. But when the high priest died, then they were able to leave. Okay? Grab a hold of this today. The difference in then and now is this. They were bound to an area of refuge. When Jesus died upon the cross, who knows He's our city of refuge, if you don't know. He's our city of refuge. When He died on the cross, grab hold of this, and rose on the 3rd day, when the plan of salvation was complete, when grace was completed, we had a city of refuge, but we weren't bound. We were the city of refuge. Do you understand that today? The city of refuge was us. It came to us. We didn't have to go to a certain place and stand. The Bible says the veil was torn. We didn't have to go to a high priest anymore. When that happened, when the highest of high priests laid down his life and defeated death, hell, and the grave, we no longer have to run to a place of refuge. The place of refuge lives inside of you today. Understand that? Yes. Understand that when you wake up in the mornings and everything and you think, oh, it's Monday. Understand today that a place of refuge lives inside of you. And in it you have freedom. You have favor and you have forgiveness. It's in you. I don't have to grab the map and say, if I may mess up today, I guess I'm going to take this road and do this and hope traffic ain't bad, hope nobody's chasing after me. I can wake up fully at peace. Ain't that big? Fully at peace that if I mess up, inside of me is grace overflowing. It's going to take care of it. That's a freedom, y'all. That's a freedom. Grab a hold of that today. That refuge, that peace, that love, that favor, that should drive us to want to be closer to God every day. Should it not? So I'm going to ask you this. This is how I'm going to close. Maybe a little different kind of thing. I'm going to close with this. I've been watching a little bit of Netflix. I'm a big Tony Dungy fan. He's a football coach, or a retired football coach, Christian man. And he was on a show HBO here called Hard Knocks, and it was like a reality deal where they came in with cameras and they filmed the Indianapolis Colts in training camp and throughout the season. Right? It was kind of a sports fans like it. It was kind of a behind the scenes look at teams and stuff like that. And I was watching it on Netflix. And at the end of the show, the very last episode, they interviewed Tony. And it was kind of like after the fact, after the show had done aired and everything. And they interviewed Tony Dungy. And this guy was cool. He didn't use any foul language. He talked about God a lot. I mean, he talked about church a lot. They had Bible studies. He was really close with the team chaplain and really gave him a lot of access. Just a cool guy. I'm a big fan of him. He's gone through some stuff. His son had committed suicide. He had faced some major stuff, and he leaned on God. God got him through it. And anyways, he sitting there and they said, "What did you think about the show?" And he said, "I watched the show." And he said, "Can I tell you today that I thought I was a good person?" He said, "But I watched the show," and he said, "I seen a man full of negativity, frustration." He began to name all things about himself that he didn't like. And he said, because of that, he said, "I'm going to change." Now, most people look at that and say, "Hey, compared to 100%, 99.9% of every other coach in the world, that guy's awesome. He's a really good guy." But he's seen things about himself he did not like. So I want to ask you this today. If a documentary crew followed you around at your most intimate moments, what would you think about that? How would you watch? Would you like what you've seen? Something I kind of self-evaluate on Kendall. Would I like what I seen? Would it be something that I'd be glad to show my family? Would it be something that I'd be glad for the world to watch on TV? What would it be rated? Would it be something children could watch? Would it be something people could watch and say, "I want to be like that," and you'd be proud of that? What would it be? Would your documentary take place in the city of Refuge? Or would it take place in that road to it? An old windy valley in sin? Evaluate yourself today. I did me. And there's things that, I ain't gonna lie. There's things that I say, "Hey, we need to get better. We need to lean on God. We need to give things to God." We got some stuff still. We got some frustration. We got some fear. We got some hurt that we've not let heal. But today, what about you? Let's all stand.